In Cathedral City, voters will soon decide the future of short-term rentals. Back in September, the City Council voted unanimously to phase out short-term rentals by 2023. In response, a short-term rental advocacy group gathered enough signatures to trigger a referendum to overturn that ordinance. A yes vote on Measure B will uphold the council's decision, while a no vote will revert to a prior set of regulations. And with just a few weeks to go until the March 2nd special election, I spoke today with both sides. First, here's my interview with three supporters of Measure B: Cathedral City residents Doug Evans, Hector Salvatierra, and Tristan Willis. Tristan, Hector, and Doug, thanks so much for joining us.
Nice to see you.
First off, for folks who are not familiar with Measure B, what is it and why do you support it? Doug.
Measure B is about a ballot measure that was forced upon the city by out-of-town investors. The City Council unanimously approved a new ordinance, tried to put that into effect for the purposes of improving neighborhood safety, reducing criminal activity, and reducing noise impacts to neighborhoods, and trying to create better neighborhoods. And Measure B, if people vote yes, will protect our neighborhoods, protect our residents, and add some stability to our neighborhoods.
How big of a problem are short-term vacation rentals? Hector?
You know what? We've had this issue for more than 5 years now. I live right next door to a short-term vacation rental, and there's many of them down my street. We've had issues, as everybody's heard before, is noises, fights, loud music. We can't let our kids, our grandkids go out to our backyard because people are using foul language. We've had a stabbing in our street on these short-term vacation rentals. We've had domestic fights, loud music every single weekend because these are party goers. That's the main problem. I mean, people parking on lawns, people parking, taking up all the parking space on the street. The hundreds of calls in the middle of the night that we have to call to let the police know, or the short-term vacation hotline. That is the main problem. And also the safety of the fact that we have constantly people coming in our neighborhood every weekend. And that is a concern for us and for families that have young kids. And we shouldn't have to go to our backyard and check it out to see if it's safe for letting our kids go out in our backyard.
Doug, did you want to add to that?
Yeah, Peter, I just wanted to show you. This is a list, and I'm 6'4". Everything in pink is a homeowner that lives next to a vacation rental on 3 streets. The street I live on, Risueño, Durango, and Hermosillo. That is a pretty significant impact on a neighborhood when you have that many people that live next door or across the street from a vacation rental. On 3 streets alone, that's how long that list is.
Wow.
That's right.
Is Measure B an outright ban on short-term vacation rentals?
No, it is not. And that is, our opposition is facing it as that, but it's not, because short-term vacation rentals will still be allowed in home and HOA communities, and there will still be a shared a bedroom or shared room as long as the property is managed by the owner. So it does not ban it outright.
The no on Measure B supporters say there are only a few bad apples and that most complaints are directed at non-permitted short-term vacation rentals. Your response to that, Tristan?
From what I've experienced myself personally, every time I have had an experience with these short-term vacation rentals, either at my house that I live at currently or where I visited my grandparents' house, it feels like every time that there is a different let's say resident or somebody that's visiting from out of town, it feels like there's always something that happens. Countless noise complaints, and every time I feel like every time I know that there's going to be a vacation rental, I always shut the blinds and turn up the TV a little louder than usual than I usually do.
Doug, would you like to respond to that as well?
Yeah, I'd like to respond to that because the city police chief has put together a report that was presented to the city council. In over a 14-month period, there were 1,800 complaints regarding short-term vacation rentals. You don't get 1,800 complaints from a handful of vacation rentals. There were 14 vacation rentals on my street when I looked into this. This is a notebook primarily of the violations on my street and the streets behind me alone. That's not a few bad apples. And in November of 2020, the city had 136 complaints. That's the highest number they've had in the 14-month period. The vacation rental industry has known they're being watched. They've done nothing to make it better. In November of 2020, they had 136 complaints. And I know for a fact citations have been issued within the last couple of days right near us and right near people that have had problem vacation rentals for years.
These people that are causing this issue of trying to fight our yes on B are investors. They're from outside of the city. They don't live here. They live outside of the area. They do not, participate in our community events. They do not do anything for our events. They claim to bring thousands of dollars into our community, and that is not so. These people that own the property, they don't care because they're not subjected to what we are subjected to it. And it is not just a few bad apples that, it is industry as a whole here in Cathedral City.
All right. Hector, Tristan, and Doug, we appreciate your time. Thanks so much for joining us.
Peter, thank you. And
Thank you.
we look forward to your show.